Hey, everybody, it's Doug Green, and I'm the publisher of Technology Reseller News, and I'm very pleased to have with me again Ellie Katz, CEO of National Retail Solutions, NRS. Ellie, thank you for joining me today.
Doug, it's great to be back. Since I came last time, I decided to clean my whiteboard, right? I have one of these whiteboards where you use erasable pens.
Right.
It still does not erase.
So it all begins with an idea. That's sort of what's that?
That's permanent. That's one of those permanent letters put up there. But then the whiteboard is supposed to be something where I could draw my ideas and make notes and then take out the eraser and erase it. But it hasn't erased in about 4.5 years. So I said, you know what? Let me give Doug a treat and his audience a treat, and let me show him a nice clean whiteboard. What have I been up to? That's when people say, what has that white cat's been up to? He's been up to cleaning his whiteboard.
That's not a bad thing this time of year. Make room for more ideas. So before we begin, you actually represent two different things: NRS, National Retail Solutions, and also IDT.
So IDT is IDT was the one who incubated us, right? They came up with the big idea. They called me into the office. They said, Ellie, we need to give tools and technology to these independents. They don't have the tools to be able to compete against the brick and mortar corporate America. And we need you to come up with some type of solution. And from that, the point of sale register was born. And IDT used their technology department to help me build it. And 38,000 point of sale registers later, what do they say? Yada, yada, yada. We have not only the point of sales and the number one point of sale business for the independent convenience stores in the country. National Retail Solutions also does credit card processing and cash advance and payroll. And we also are able to give tremendous insights to companies to help these small independents be more successful.
So, that's sort of our conversation today. There's a nexus that you guys represent that I think was kind of an outlier when you started, but is now kind of more central, which is we had telecom over here and we had payment services over here. They were really kind of different. They were only kind of connected maybe over the internet or something like that, but they were like in different silos, different universes. You guys actually put them together. That's essentially what happened, right?
That's exactly what happened.
And then it happened at the moment when the even littlest companies, little bodegas and so forth, were like migrating from cash to cards.
Yeah, actually, we just had our investor day at IDT last week. And we showed from when we started to where we are today, as far as the penetration of credit card processing in these independent convenience stores. And it keeps going up and up and up. I think the number is about 41% or somewhere in that neighborhood. So you can imagine where it started. But, cards were not so popular because it was hard to get. A lot of people are unbankable. They don't have the ability to get a bank account. So, although debit is very big in these independent convenience stores.
But you need, historically, to your point, in the day before yesterday, you needed a bank account to have a debit card. You just didn't get it now. So now I bet everybody.
Yeah, now they have prepaid debit cards you can get.
Right. So first of all, there's been a revolution in debit cards. There's also been this other revolution that we were just discussing before we started our podcast today, which is we're moving from cash to things like Venmo and Zelle and Pay on your phone. And even if you don't have a bank account, you don't have any credit, you load up your phone at Walmart and so on, you can load your phone up to pay merchants.
Exactly. And actually, our point of sale register is connected to the IDT Boss Revolution portal. So merchants that have our point of sale register can actually sell telecom products through the point of sale register. one-click buttons too to make it very seamless and user-friendly. So I'm sure a lot of your listeners who've been selling telecom are familiar with like providing a tablet or providing a laptop or a desktop to these merchants so that they would have to go and to add money to someone's cell phone service or to send money to somewhere else. Now they can do it all through our point of sale system. So we've actually, when you talk about marrying telecom and our point of sale solution, they're very married, happily married.
Now, Elliot, I was just discussing with you, I was in Washington, D.C. a couple of weeks ago, and we were in this sort of office building, and upstairs was something everybody's experiences, sort of like a little food court, and there's offices and stuff. But I noticed a huge shift. Almost all the little places in that food court were basically card only. There were one or two places you could do cash. So it's a total flip. Historically, and these places are usually run by people that are new to the country, and the type of establishments 10 years ago would have been cash only, no card. Now it's the opposite, card only or phone only.
See, I have a couple of restaurants, and I was always of the school of thought, if you could take it, if you could cash it, then it's good here, right?
Beautiful,
so
right.
Credit cards, checks, cash, Bitcoin, peso, whatever it is. If I'm able to cash it and take it, then it's a good currency at my restaurant. But unfortunately, there's a lot of theft going on. Not just from the customer side of the counter, but also from the merchant side of the counter. So a lot of merchants are moving towards this cashless system.
Right.
I was at a stadium recently, and they wouldn't even let me pay cash, credit card or debit card only.
Right.
So, and they do that, I think, because it costs money to process the cash. It costs money to have someone pick that money up and deliver it to the bank. It costs money to count it, and it costs money when you lose it or when somebody takes it.
I think this is a huge point. The safety point is huge. A merchant with cash, just a guy making falafels or something in a little stand, he's pretty vulnerable. He's got a few $100s worth of cash. It's an easy mugging target. But if that's all happening on Zelle or something, I don't know how you steal that.
No, you're absolutely right. And the younger generation also, forget about credit cards. Everything is done through their phone, Apple Pay, tap and charge. My son, who's 20 years old, he likes this urban clothing. So we recently did a pop-up in Atlanta. It was next to a concert of some famous hip hopper, some musician. So the day of, so we did the pop-up, and the demographics of the people shopping for the clothing were probably 15 to 21, 15 to 20, right, somewhere in that neighborhood. Nobody used cash.
Right.
Nobody used cash. Everybody used their phone.
Right. So because that phone has become their bank, right? They're using a platform such as Venmo. They've got cash there. They're buying stuff. They're getting cash from other people. They're paying and receiving. I mean, that's sort of their little banking system for a lot of people.
And I think that's why it's so important, especially for your listeners who are in that telecom world that have needed to pivot, right? Because the ones that didn't pivot are out of business. I remember going to the telecom trade show, and I go every year in August in Vegas, and I saw such a transition of the different types of vendors and resellers and booths there over the years, because the ones that didn't pivot, the ones that didn't change, are the ones that got left behind or went out of business. And I think that's why I love talking to you, Doug, because we have such a unique product at National Retail Solutions. We have a product that every business needs, credit card processing, right? As we just laid out the foundation for that. And your listeners, or a lot of your listeners from the telecom world, have the relationships with these businesses. And if they could get in touch with NRS by simply going to sellnrs.com, sellnrs.com. But if they can get in touch with NRS and they could say, hey, I would like to offer your product to my customers, they could see an additional stream of income. And it's very important. I think we saw during COVID how important it is to have different cups. Right? I learned that when I was 19 years old. My teacher told me you have to have different cups in life. You can't just have one stream of income, and I say that during COVID because I have some real estate and I have some restaurants. And during COVID, the first week, every single tenant said they don't have a job and they're not paying me rent. My heart, what do I do?
So, let's talk about this, because I think there's almost a paradox here. We're in the telecom industry. I'm talking now about our channel partner guys, our MSP guys, even our carrier guys, possibly. We're all in the telecoms business, but we have not historically seen point of sale creating a platform for people to do commerce, right? It's not a connected opportunity in most people's heads.
So our point of sale is really good for convenience, liquor, tobacco shops,
Right.
Vape shops, maybe some clothing places, so that's on the point of sale side. But then, so that's limited. And I wouldn't think that a lot of your listeners and a lot of the telecom resellers have relationships with those type of stores. But all the businesses that they sell to, they do have relationships with, and they all need money. They all need cash flow. So start offering them a cash advance from NRS. They all use credit card processing. So say, hey, listen, I've done so well with you. I've given you your phone service. Let me have a crack at your credit card processing. They all have payroll. So say, hey, NRS Purple, let me offer them payroll services.
So you're actually saying, hey, you know what? Create an opportunity for yourself. In other words, this may not just come to you. Folks that need these services consists of the people you probably have already sold other services to, but they don't think of you. It goes the other way, right? They're not thinking of you as a place to go get POS.
Right. Or credit card processing, or cash advance, or payroll.
Right. Now, let me also get out there the other news that you guys have, because it shows, I think, that you guys really do understand this industry. You had some announcements in recent weeks about Grubhub and so on.
Yes. So what we have done for the reason that we are the number one point of sale register for the independent convenience store is because we recognize and understand the challenges and the pain points of these independent merchants, right? So for the listeners and the viewers, let's break down what an independent convenience store is. When you think of a 7-Eleven, that's a convenience store, but that's not independent, right? That's obviously they're a chain,
right.
Several thousand of those. But when you think about your corner convenience stores, right? The no names that's owned and operated by the same person you've seen every morning when you go get your coffee. I want to say when you go get your coffee and newspaper, but I don't know. A lot of them are probably not selling newspapers anymore. Maybe they are. That's your independent convenience store. And the person behind the counter has limited resources and limited time in the day, and has to really deal with the customers that are coming in. And that's really their job, I guess, for that day. They don't have time to go look for best in class products to help them run their business, right? So, so the people that walk in and try to sell credit card processing, honestly, most of those people, they don't care about the merchant. They care about their own pocket, right? So they're selling credit card processing that's got high cancellation fees, that's got expensive equipment fees, that's got long-term contracts. I remember one contract that I saw. It said you have a 3-year contract, and if you don't notify us 1 month before the end of the 3-year contract, it auto renews for 3 years.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so what I do? I mean, I'm not even sure if Siri lets me set my reminder for 3 years from now. But okay. So these merchants need help, and we understand that. So we have dedicated resources for the help. So you mentioned about Grubhub or DoorDash, or another one is Nations Benefits, right? So if you go into your chain pharmacy convenience store, right? So we all know which one. There's different ones: CVS, Walgreens. I don't, So if you go into there, then there's something called over the counter, right? OTC, which is that you can buy certain medications or buy certain items from over the counter, and your insurance will pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Nations Benefits will pay for it. So Nations Benefits now is integrated with our point of sale system. So when someone has our point of sale system, it's as if they're going into one of these chain pharmacies, because we're giving them the same type of benefits. Same thing. So that's a benefit for the merchant, the small independent that doesn't have time to do the research to do the best in class. Same thing with the DoorDash and the Grubhub. I want to tell you, I'm amazed at the amount of orders that come out of our customers from DoorDash. It's off the charts, and we're still in the scaling up mode, right? We haven't even hit all 38,000 units. We're still scaling up. When someone thinks about Grubhub and DoorDash, they usually think about restaurants. They don't think about convenience stores. At least I don't. So we are now integrated, and I want to tell you that DoorDash is an unbelievable partner. Grubhub is also doing great with us, but DoorDash really wants to see these independents do well.
Well, Ellie, this is always eye-opening, and I think this is a huge thing. I think people really need to learn more about this opportunity and put their minds on it. It occurred to me as we close up today, if it applies to the convenience store and it applies to the food carts and the small restaurants, if also the younger generation are using their phone to pay, how would they pay for healthcare? How would they pay for many other services that are really basically small businesses and have historically faced giant fees to do credit card processing?
Correct.
So you guys have a way forward for that.
We have NRSPay.com. NRSPay.com is a credit card processing service that we do that has, by the way, no long-term contract. It has a paper you have to sign. Right. That's it. Doug signs for NRS Pay today. Doug can cancel tomorrow. And you know what your cancellation fee would be, Doug? Right. 0. No cancellation fee.
You're not playing all the reindeer games that we've seen over the years with the long-term game, and then you got to pay fees even if you're not processing, and then then those complex fee statements.
Yes.
If you've ever owned a business, it's like, what's all this?
2 options: clean rate, which is you get a piece of paper, 2.49, 10 cents, $10 a month. That's it. No other surprises. No, statement fees, paper fees, all the other PCI fees, all these other surprises. They always have these surprises.
Right.
So you get that, or you have what we call cash discount, which is very popular, which basically essentially passes on those the credit card charges to the customer. And I think that's becoming a lot more popular. You mentioned that you went to a place where everyone had credit card processing and you couldn't do cash. And I would think that a lot of those did what's called cash discount, right? Which the basic concept is Doug is getting the mileage, Doug is getting the cash back, Doug is getting the reward points. Why am I as a merchant paying for that, right? And by the way, for a lot of these businesses, after employee costs and cost of goods, it's up there in the top 3 or 4 most, part of my, things that cost my business a lot of money. So if I do a cash discount program, and the cash discount program, you give plumbers, you have electricians, you have people that are in a car, you have people that are online. You can do everything. All of that could be done with nrspay.com.
So sellnrs.com and paynrs.com, are those the 2 places I need to go?
No, sellnrs.com is just for anyone who wants to try to sell one of our products, and we'll train. We have websites that can give tutorials. We hook you up with a channel manager that will hold your hand and show you how to enter the application. And then you also have just nrspay.com, which is the website if one just wants to get credit card processing. I tell everyone to go to nrspay.com is the best to go to.
So NRS Pay, let me just put that in here for everybody. I have above your head where to go to if you're a partner.
That. You're getting all fancy with the QR codes.
Elliot, always a pleasure. I want to thank you. We're gonna resume this conversation right after the new year. But everybody,
sure. I want to wish you and all the listeners and watchers a happy and healthy holiday season, a safe holiday season. That's the most important, and a happy new year.
Happy New Year and a happy season.
Thank you,
Ellie,
Doug.
thank you very much indeed.